Hey y'all, it's Brandon with Voodoo Forge, and I don't like making knives, and I'm right-handed, but I'm about to make a left-handed knife. Start forging a little bit of a tip up in the forge and not just... A little background on this real quick. This is another thing for the Dead Men YouTube channel up there in Alaska, specifically Josh. He was doing something with a hook knife and he was like, man, they don't make hook knives for left-handed people. And I was like, well, I know a guy. So let's see how we figure this thing out. All right, I got some 1084 here. First thing I'm gonna do is break it down a little bit so I can do what I wanna do with it. The ways to do this, I'm using a cutoff wheel. Cut in half. Now this leaves a burr, which is sharp and can cut you, but I know it's there. But I'll forget at some point and cut myself. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this burr off. Hadn't worn the new off the little Vevor 1x30 yet, so I'm gonna use it for this. Free tip for tool steel: when you cut a piece off the parent stock, go ahead and label it, because if it gets misplaced in your shop somehow, you won't know what it is. Don't need all this for this project, so I'm cutting it in half. There we go. I'm gonna mark this with a center punch at 2 inches. Doesn't have to be precise. Okay, I'm using a chop fuller I made a while back to put a little fuller in here. Now we can do a little better than that. There we go, it's about perfect. Now I'm just straightening this up. And I'm gonna start forging a little bit of a tip on here. Maybe, I don't know, this might go away. It's not holding heat long. One thing to always keep in mind: don't get in a hurry. That's where you start messing stuff up and getting hurt. And I don't want you to mess stuff up or get hurt. Both of those would break my heart. As I'm forging it. Now I'm going to throw it in the forge and heat the whole thing up. The whole thing is in there and it is past critical temperature, so I am going to shut the forge off and let it just cool off in there. I'm not completely annealing it, but you know, I'm normalizing it, because we're going to do some grinding and some drilling and all of that. Everything has cooled off, so I want to make a hook knife. Now, hook knife for a right-handed person, you know, it's going to curl up this way, and I want my bevel to be on the outside. But I'm making this for a left-handed person, so it's going to curl up this way, so I want my bevel to be on this side. So I'm going to mark which side the bevel goes on with a paint pen, because I'm an idiot and I'll forget. First thing I gotta start doing is thinning out this blade altogether. It's an 1/8 inch thick, so let's get on that. While I'm grinding this, these corners are starting to get into my hands a little bit. So I'm going to take them off. That ought to be better. Okay, I have thinned this out quite a bit. It was an 1/8. I've taken about half off, so it's about a 1/16 now. So now I'm going to profile it. I'm going to do a little work on the spine, but I can live with that for the edge side. What I've decided to do on the fly is take this blade all the way down to the top fuller on the spine. I've got this blade as thinned out as I want it. So before I put a bevel on this, I'm going to center punch for a couple of holes. And then I got to do just a little bit, if I can hold on to my punch, just a little bit of filing on here to get it where I want it. Cleaning up the fuller on the cutting edge side. There we go, that's a little better. I'm drilling 1/8 holes because I got 1/8 pin stock, so. We got our single bevel on the correct side, and I'm not gonna get it razor sharp because I still gotta forge it and harden it, but it actually has a decent edge on it. I've decided to use some red aromatic cedar, which is real common here in Tennessee for the handle. So first I got to plane it down a little. Okay, so we got that down to about 5/16. That ought to make a couple of good scales for the handle. Okay, I want the blade to be recessed into the handle there on one of the scales so that the handles will be flush and can be slightly oversized. This is one of the reasons why I hate knives. I mean, there's always something that's not, there's always something like making a handle. Jeez. Well, that fits down in there pretty good. And we're gonna call it pretty good. Good enough. There we go. So now we need to forge our hook. I've got to keep a close eye on this because the material's so thin. Taking it over that way first. Actually holding this in the forge and not just setting it in there. And I think we got our hook knife. That looks pretty good to me. I'm normalizing it one more time here. I've set it in there, took it up to temperature. Now I'm going to let it cool off in the forge. One of the good parts about using this 1084 is it's a known steel with known properties, so we know that we need to quench it in a commercially available quench like parts 50, so that is what we are doing. Okay, we're gonna need to heat this to right past non-magnetic, but I'm gonna hold it in and out of the fork because I'm taking long to heat up. Right there, good. So into the quench we go. Alright, yeah we did. Alright, file skate. I do this on a fajita skillet. I'm going to do 425 degrees for 2 hours, cool to room temperature, and then 425 degrees for 2 hours. But according to my wife, you're not coming in the kitchen with me. Well, it's finishing up tempering. Just gotta work on my handle a little bit. The one I spent all that time carving out has got a little bit of a crack in it. Let's just hope the epoxy takes care of that. While cedar is not an ideal handle material for a knife, it's great at spreading epoxy around. Alright, just like that. Alright, take off this excess fin stock. I marked down here where I needed to cut this off at before I epoxied this. There we go. This is going to be the basic shape that I'm going for with the handle. But before I start sanding this, I feel like I should cover up this sharp part that I've been putting near my wrist and everything else. Well, slowly but surely we're getting there. This is our finished product. The handle, it feels good in the right hand, but the blade's going the wrong way, so I imagine it'll feel good in the left hand. And I left him enough beef back here on the back that he can sand it down if he wants it to be smaller. But yeah, I don't know. I think it turned out okay. You could probably use a good honing, but I mean, knives are not the primary thing I do here in the shop, so I don't have all the knife stuff. And yeah, he can hone this thing himself, but hopefully he'll tell us how this thing does. All right, y'all, that is it. I hope you got something out of this. And for my buddies that are knife makers, just, you know, make your face. I don't care. All right, now my nephew and I have something to tell you. Now, I'm going to be honest, I never really cared much for the plight of the left-handed until we discovered that my nephew Lane here was afflicted with left-handism. Bolt-action rifles, revolvers, manual transmissions, all were not designed around freaks like this.
Nope.
But over time, I have come to realize that left-handed people, much like gingers and Imagine Dragon fans, are people too. So extend the hand of friendship to a left-handed person. Wrong hand, Lane. No, seriously, try to make something for the lefties every now and then.
Lefties is our word.